Okay, so in this video, we're going to do some playthrough. We're probably going to just play one turn each. It's late at night. I am burning the midnight oil here, but I do want to start playing. Like, I'm very excited about this game, and at least like I said, I'm not even sure I'm going to finish a full round, but we'll get some of the playthrough going so you can at least see how the bots work and how everything meshes together. And again, I don't have all the rules fully mastered, but I hope this will give you the tools you need to get your own game started. And it's going to be focused on taking things one step at a time and not about overwhelming you with all your choices. So here we go. The first thing to understand is who goes first. Well, the scenario tells you that. So somewhere in here it says that the Ottoman Empire goes first. I just can't remember where it says it, but I know it says it. Oh, right here. First player, round 1, Ottomans. Okay, so 16 rounds, like I said. 4, 8, 12, 16. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. All right. The Austria, it just tells you that they start here. Oh, and we forgot to do this. So the Pope, Castile controls position 1, Austria, France, England, and then Poland. So the way that works is I gotta do Castile, Austria, England, France, and Poland. And of course the Ottoman Empire isn't there because they are heathens and infidels. Let me make sure I got that right. Castile, Austria, France, England, Poland. Now, the way the Papal Curia works is it's the number of players, basically. So we're going to use all 6 positions in this case. But as cubes go on, they go on from the left side, and they're going to push cubes to the right. And if any player happens to have the most cubes on here, they get control of the Pope, basically. And when they do, they get to have a -1 upkeep for their advisors, and then they also get +1 cube for diplomacy, and they get 2 extra actions, which lets them excommunicate rulers and call crusade. Now, those are all explained very nicely here, and it gives you what the basics are, and there's the -1 upkeep for your advisors, etc. And then here are the 2 extra actions that you get to do. Excommunicate another player, or call a crusade against the Muslim realm. So, alright. Ottomans, they go first. I can tell you without even looking at anything, they're going to draw a bot card. But how do I know they're going to draw a bot card? Well, we got to look at the bot rulebook, which is, I know I'm spinning around, but it's over near England. And in the bot rulebook, after it goes through different concepts, there is a bot actions main turn structure. So when they start their turn, they're going to check to see, do they have any bot power left? Or did they spend all their bot cubes? They have their full set of 9 cubes. They haven't spent a single one. And if the answer is yes, they follow the green path. If the answer is no, they follow the red. Are they under attack? No, they're not under attack. Are there an army board on the map and can siege in the same area? Now that's actually a trickier one. So what that's saying is, are they somewhere where they are at war with something and can siege? So for example, if there was it's like there's a claim here, but let's say this didn't belong to them, this belonged to somebody else. That would be a situation where their army would siege Selanik. But that's not the case, so it doesn't apply to them. And yes, you have to bounce around a lot in this game. because in order to bring this back up, if there's a hotkey to bring this up again, I would love if somebody could tell me what it is, because that would just save me so much effort. Okay, so you just keep going down and down and down. Do they have 3 butt cubes left and 1 colonist? The answer is no. They don't have any colonists. Have they spent more butt cubes than what they have left? Are the spent butt cubes greater than the amount that they have left? The answer is no. They haven't spent any. Do they have any butt cards left? Yes, they're going to draw a butt card. So there you go. I could have saved you all these steps, but just to help you to go through like what a butt would do. So they're going to draw a butt card, and then we're just going to do what the butt card says. And here's actually all the butt cards right here. And it's a really nice summary. I like it. And it even shows you the cost of the different actions. But we'll go and draw the butt card, and that's where the magic happens, and the rules ambiguity and all that other stuff. So let's spin back around, zoom in on Ottomans, and I am going to, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drag 1 card off, and then we're going to flip it. That's how we're going to draw it. Okay, so he's going to grab an event. And this is interesting, because we didn't go over the events yet, but he's going to basically do his event now. And it's a viable option as a player. You can do an event as your first action. So the event, you can see here there's an English one that belongs to England. It's going to add some unrest and place some rebels out on the board, and then they can crush the rebels, or they can await situation, and it's an A or B option for them. There's a more generic one, the Tatar raids, and then there's some revolts, which is interesting. This is not a great event, to be quite honest, to take. But what it does do, though, is it does cause rebellion, and it's going to cause leaders to die. Any leader with a circle is going to get sick, and if they ever get 2 of these sick tokens, they die. So we're going to be killing off leaders, and I think this one, we'd have to look that one up. So anyways, which one of these do they take? That is the million-bot question. And we happen to have it all right here. So if I go back up to page 1, we are doing the event action, which should be in here. Right here, page 9. So I'm going to click on page 9, and why don't I see the event action? Because this is not page 9, is it? Page 9 is the very last page. Let's go backwards. Here it is. Page 5? Oh, it's page 9 here, but this is 5. I don't understand why this isn't lining up with page numbers, but that's neither here nor there. So, the event action has a big flowchart, but it's not that bad. So basically, did they already take an event? And if the answer is yes, then they got to discard that bot card and basically start over, which would mean they're going to draw another bot card. But they have not taken an event. So now we got to roll a die, and based on the die roll, it's going to determine which path we take. So if they roll a 3, they're going to take the England event. So let's figure out what they're going to do. I have to close that, and I did have a die somewhere, right here. So we right click and we hit roll. That wasn't a very exciting roll, was it? But it's a 6. Is there really 6 bot dice there? Okay, I rolled a 6. I'm going to quit being so violent. Alright. So, rolled a 6. Let's go back. A 6 is it an owned event is revealed? Meaning, is it an Ottoman event? And the answer is no. Is it at war with the opponent whose event is revealed? The answer is no. So then it's going to go all the way over here, and it's going to pick the leftmost event. Now, all this is saying is, out of all the events that are out there, was any of them for the Ottoman Empire? If the answer was yes, then it was going to pick that one. That's all it's saying. Were they at war, like with England? Because England was the only one out there. If they were at war with England, then they would have picked the England one. And then, of course, just chose option B, which is always the worst option for England. So what they are going to do is they're just going to take the leftmost one, which is a very interesting one. And they're going to gain a bot power for doing this if D is on the event. But only if D is on the event. So the event, just to remind you, I'm even getting confused, is this guy right here. So I don't see a D on the event, so they're not going to gain a bot power. That's the first thing. Get that out of the way. So what they're going to do is they're going to gain 1 unrest. Now, this is the part that's interesting. I don't know where the bot gets the unrest, like which province, so we're going to have to figure that out. Also, they have to choose an area where they have a claim token without unrest. Oh, I see. It's not a claim. It's a conquered territory that's not a core. Now, how do I know that? Remember, I told you can come here and you look at all these symbols. So actually, it's not even a conquered territory. It's just a town. So I need to shut up and just go here and tell you. So anywhere you have a town. So we got to resolve this, and we'll have to just take it step by step. But choose an area where you have a town without unrest and another area adjacent to it. Add unrest to 2 towns in each area. One of these towns must be your own. So this is a way you can put unrest on neighboring provinces. So we have to resolve all of this. Okay, and actually that's not an unrest, that's a military symbol. My apologies. Holy cow, they do look similar, don't they? And then these are special symbols that we have to resolve after we do this. Okay, let's do the first step. You gain 1 military cube. Now when you're a bot, you don't gain a military cube, you just gain a bot power. So, because every cube is a generic cube for them. Next, choose an area where you have a town without unrest and another area adjacent to it, and add unrest to 2 towns in each area. One of these must be your own. Okay, so let's look at the Ottomans, which are here. And I also need to find, I think those are the, yep, those are the rebels right there. Okay, so we have towns, or not we, the bot has towns in all these places. And none of them are, like some of these places are, they don't belong to the bot. Like Kastamonu here, Trebizond, etc. So what it's saying is we need to create unrest on towns in an area and an area next to it. So there's probably a smart way to do this. I mean, the dumb way to do it would be, okay, I'm going to flip this and give that unrest, and then flip this and give that unrest, and just do 2 towns in each one, right? So now I got unrest like that. That's probably not the smart way to do it. Like, the smarter way to do it is to try to make it so a non-Ottoman one is getting the unrest. Alright, so let me do some quick rule checking, and then I'll show you what I found step by step. I won't skip, and I just don't want you to see me fumbling to figure out where they should go. Okay, I got it figured out. So I am in the bot rulebook, and you do have to piece together a couple of things. The first one is under Rebel Dice Rolls. It says use standard bot choices for applying rebellions and removing unrest. Applying rebellions would be adding unrest. So then we go to page 3, and then here, when given the option to select a province, to add unrest, for example, which is what we're doing, always do it in alphabetical order if no other preference is given. Now, it does then give you a preference. It says, when applying effects that are bad for the bot, which this is bad for the bot, or beneficial to an opponent, before applying alphabetic priority, prioritize provinces or areas that have the lowest tax value. So there's your answer. So we got to pick 2 realms where they have at least 1 town and apply it. Now, the question is, can I apply it to a place like this? And I'm going to say no, because there's no town token for me to flip. I don't have generic unrest tokens I can just place. Or maybe I do. I mean, I do have this. Yeah, I don't think I can. I'll do one check in the real rulebook for 1 second. Okay, this is the primary rulebook that does not include bots. NPR provinces can never have unrest. So that's non-player. Now, the bot is a non-player province, but they do get unrest. And what they're referring to is a non-bot province. So like Croatia and Bosnia here, they can't have unrest. So we have to pick 2 areas that are next to each other that has at least 1 town in them. And the priority is alphabetical after picking the lowest tax area. So this is tricky because the highest tax area are going to be these big towns. And how do I know? Well, it's actually hard because it doesn't show taxes here because these are bots. But basically the big towns are 2 tax each and the little towns are 1 tax each. So it's 2 and 1. And maybe it does show that here and I'm just being dumb. I guess it does right there. 2 and 4 and then 1. Okay, so that's what these little numbers mean. So this would be 3 tax. This is 4 tax. So technically speaking, this area has less tax. This one is 2. That's also 2. This is, I'm sorry, this is 3. This is 3. That's just 1. And that would be 2. So arguably speaking, the lowest ones are these 2 on the outside. Actually, this is the very lowest one. But they have to be next to each other. So I don't know like how we would resolve that, because I guess you have to take them 2 side by. So these 2 together is 3 plus 2, that's 5. This is 3 plus 1, that's 4. You see what I mean? This is 6, these 2 together. This is 2 plus 3, that's 5. And this is 4, that's way more. So this is actually the lowest 2 combo. Now this one doesn't let me flip over 2 towns. And it does say where at least one of them has to be there. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this one and flip, flip, and flip. So we got unrest in all 3 of those areas. Now what's interesting, and I don't know from the rules so far, is in that particular event there was not a second town to flip. So could I have chosen Greece? Or was I forced, for example, to go up here and choose these 2? Because that's easy enough to do, right? I could flip Greece back and then flip these 2 instead, because it technically said to do 4 towns, but it said at least one of them has to be yours. In this case, I'm not flipping 4 towns. I'm actually going to take the rules literally. I think in the case where at least one has to be yours, it means I'm flipping somebody else's town. And there's nobody else's town to flip. So instead, I got to flip these ones. So there you go. There's our unrest. That was, for me, a lot of rules lookup just to figure this out. But these events get tricky that way. And you can see we add that into 2 towns in each area. One of these must be your own. Done. So this event is resolved. Now we have to do the special symbols. I'm going to do the one on the right first because that's easier. All military advisors that have a circle are going to get sick. Now this is for players only. The bots are immune to this. So I come over to here. You see I have a plus and a square. So, but these also count. So if I ever get a square, I'm screwed. Look at this. Square, 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 square. All of them are going to die at once. But because it was a circle, it did not impact my realm. Now, if there's other player characters, we would have to go, across all of them. So that's a little mechanism for your advisors and leaders just dying over the course of the decades that this game spans. The other one is this, and this one is addressed in the... Basically, it's a rebellion. And the rebellion does impact... It's confusing. Here, I'll show you. When you get further down, these are all the little symbols. It's on page 9 of the Solitaire book. These are what all the little symbols mean. And like sometimes the bots are not affected, but the human players are. And a lot of these say that. So these are rules like the human players have to follow certain rules, but this one is Unrest Rebellion, and it just says as above. So what does that mean? There is no Unrest or Rebellion above. And so it gets really nebulous there, and I don't appreciate that. I wish it would at least tell me, okay, as above on page... There is nowhere in here does it say Unrest Rebellion and what to do. So, not cool. I wonder if the final product that you guys have physically in your hands has that better explained. But it basically gets back to the same place we were before. When you're doing here, Rebel and Dice Rolls, see, this is not the rebellion action. So it makes you feel like you're not sure what to do. So so here we go. We got Rebel Dice Rolls, and that rebellion here. I'm going to go look up in the primary rulebook because we got to figure out what happens to us, because those symbols affect all the players, not just that player. So there is going to be a rebellion, and we got to look in the primary rulebook for that. And you can see here, see, this is during phase 3 that you deal with the Rebel dice. But sometimes we have, they're called secondary effects. See this right here? Page 41. So we're going to go down to 41, and right here is Unrest Rebellion. All players must roll a Rebel die for each of their provinces with Unrest, following the procedure described on page 37. Okay, perfect. So it is rolling the dice, and we roll a maximum of 1. So the bot is going to have to follow the bot rules for that. We have no Unrest, so we're good. So let's go back to the bot rules, and so we get the Rebel dice rolls. So if required, alphabetically, but prefer to remove tokens that hurt them directly. Bots roll Rebel dice for all their Unrest at once, not area by area, and they roll a maximum of 5. Well, the good news is the event is only roll 1 die, so we don't have to roll 5. And then here you can see, like, depending on what you roll, there's different outcomes. So let's roll, and we'll figure out outcomes after that. Okay, so when you're looking at the board, I'm upside down right now. I'm going to flip it around so it's right side up. And the dice are over here in the top right corner. And these are the Rebellion dice, so we're going to go ahead and grab one of these. And I'm going to go ahead and say roll. Alright, so we rolled this, which I think is, it's removing Unrest. See how it says the highlight hover text? So we're going to remove Unrest, and I already know which one it's going to remove. It's going to remove the highest tax value, which is this one. So we're going to flip that one back over, but it still has Unrest in 3 places. That was simple enough. Okay. That was 25 minutes to take a bot turn. It goes a little quicker when you know the rules, or I know the rules. But yeah, it can be a little involved. I think anytime you're playing events, it's always involved. So let's draw another card. All right, so right there it is. End the 100 Years' War. That's what we were talking about. Surrender of Maine. England would have to do all this nasty stuff. If at peace, may cede Maine to France. If they do, they both gain blah, 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 blah. If not, they both enter truce and lose a claim in the other's realm. If not, they both gain 1 military power and lose 1 stability, and any truce between them ends. So actually, I don't know if that's quite as good. This might actually be more hurtful in the board game, but in the video game, it's glorious to sell off Maine, make a bunch of money off of it, and then whenever that event occurs, you don't have to give up anything. Okay. Oh, one last thing needs to be done. We come over here to this board, and the Ottomans have taken an event. So they move here. The Ottomans are now eligible for passing, which they're not going to do, but they are eligible for it. Okay, that was a lot, I know, but that is it. Okay, so the turn order is, I think, as it's displayed here. So the Ottomans go first, and here you can see the player realms are Ottomans, then France, then Castile, then England, then Austria, then Poland. So it's going to be, if you're looking at the table here, it's clockwise order. So we're good. So Ottomans went, and now we go to France. France is going to go through that same checklist. France is not at war with anybody. There's nobody to siege. There's no colonists, all that jazz. So we're going to go ahead and just draw a bot card. And I can move this out of the way. And we're going to flip this over. So they have diplomacy. And, or they're going to go to war, military, and spend 3 bot points. Now, this is one of those deals where there's 2 actions on here. Actually, no. There's only 1 action. It's a diplomacy card, but it's declaring war. Interesting. Okay, so once again, we have to, and you, if you ever have any questions, see, this is card number 5. So we get out the bot sheet, which is over here, and you can see number 5. The first action is diplomacy. The second action is military. I'm sorry, I was wrong. So first action is diplomacy. And so they're going to try to do diplomacy first, and then if they can't, they're going to do military. They always try to do the first action. So what we do is we go to diplomacy action. Okay, do they have an alliance plus a marriage on any NPR adjacent to the bot? And the answer to that might be yes. Here they have an alliance with province, but no marriage. That's the only one. They do have an alliance with Scotland, but again, no marriage. Alright, so we got to go back and click on that bot again. So the answer is no. So we're going to come down here. Do they have an alliance on any NPR adjacent to a bot? Yes. They have an alliance with province. Do they have double the tax income of the NPR, the non-player realm? I'm pretty sure they do. Let's go check. The tax income for France is tremendous. They have 8 plus 8 is 16. So their tax income is 16. And then province's tax income, like province is literally that one city there, which is 2, because it's a big city and not a small. So province has, now if you're ever unsure how many territories they have, that's what this is for. because sometimes they're not all together. So you can come on here and go to Europe, Western Europe, and province, and you can see that their tax income is 3 ducats. It actually shows you right here. And now how was that 3 ducats and not the 2 that I calculated? That's probably because I missed a province territory. Province has this territory here, and I bet, oh look, there's the other one, Anjou, over here. So you look at the flag. So province has that flag. So this is 2 and that's 1. So their income's 3. So do we have double? The answer is heck yes we do. So then we bring this back up. So our do we have double the tax income of them? Yes. So we go up to here. Do they have influence cubes greater than or equal to the NPR's tax income plus any opponent cubes in that area? And we ignore papal states and imperial cubes. Alright, so we got to count the number of French cubes, and I think the France only have 2 cubes. And the NPR's tax income was 3. So I already think that the answer is no, but let's just make sure. There's no rush. We're doing this early game here. And yes, France has 2 cubes, and the income is 2 plus 1, 3. Now, was it the income just for that province? Because for this province, the income is only 2, but I don't think that's what it said. Nope, it's the total tax income plus any opponent cubes, which there weren't any. So the answer is no. So this would be an annex. Here we're going to go here and I'm going to select such NPR with highest tax income. Prefer adjacent to Buck. So we're going to select that NPR for the diplomacy action. Okay, fair enough. Any free spaces in the target area? Yes. We're going to add 2 cubes in the target area. Prefer the target's capital, and that is going to be the capital. So yeah, we're going to add 2 more cubes, which is going to allow them to annex them later. Now see, there's this subnote 3. But must remove 1 fewer cube if it has royal marriage on the target realm. We're not removing, we're adding. If the bot has researched any diplomatic ideas, it places additional cubes. There we go. That's the thing that applies. So, very simple thing. We're going to add 2 cubes to this. So, let's go back and resolve the action now. This is going to cost 3 bot power. So we take 3 of these cubes and we move it over to spent. Okay? And then they're going to take 2 cubes for their action and put it in the area. So now they have 4 cubes, and I know it's not very elegant, but they now have 4 influence on that area. There is a cap of 5 influence for all players to influence an area. So if England had an influence here, this would have been capped out. But if they ever get this diplomacy card again, they are for sure going to annex province, because they have they're going to have more cubes than the tax income plus anybody else's cubes that are in the area. So they're setting themselves up to annex province, which in the video game, that's a pretty solid strategy. So it's following up how a lot of humans would play France quite well. Alright, so we took their turn. France's turn was a little less painful. And the other reason it's less painful is there's no symbols on the bottom. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. The symbols on the bottom was because of the event. Oh, I may have been premature. 1 second. There's an event for France on the board. They may have taken that instead of drawing their card. My apologies. I may have been... Because remember I said they were going to just draw a card. That may not be the case. Main turn structure. No. This is where they would go to the event. They did not pick an event. They're drawing a bot card. Whew. I was getting a little nervous there. Okay, so now it gets to us. Okay, we look at this event. There's one event out here called Iberian Wedding that we want. None of these are for us, so I'm not a fan of any of these, so I'm okay with bypassing those. We have a lot of choices to make, and the choices are here. And again, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to just mention the key ones that Castile will probably want to do in the beginning. There is always recruit, which would get us more units, and then there's the cost here. We can get merc units or we can get regular units. The advantage of mercenary units is you can go above your manpower limit when you get them. And then of course, you don't have to pay. You can actually kill them off so you don't have to pay for them, maintenance for them later. The military actions, another one is declare war on Andalusia. That would be a great option. Another one is trade to get some money. Another one that would be good is to increase our stability. There's a lot of benefits to doing that, having a higher stability. We'll talk about that in a second. And then another one that is really good is to get an idea, which is right here, research idea, and the cost is stated on the card. Okay, lots of choices I just mentioned. Let's go through them. The researching an idea, let's start with that one. I have a card that for 2 cubes, it would let me research an idea for the cost of just 2, and I'm actually going to score 1 extra point for doing so. And it requires a stability of 0 or more. My stability is here, and we start at 0. The increased stability action costs 5 cubes, which I don't have, minus the current stability level. So if you were at -3 stability, it would be 5 minus 3. It would only cost me 2 cubes to raise the stability up. If your stability goes down, you lose tax revenue, you gain rebels, and I forget what the crown thing is. We gotta look over here. What's that little crown symbol? You lose a monarch power cube. That's not good. Yeah, not good at all. However, if you have +3 stability, you gain 2 revenue, you lose rebels, and you're going to gain 2 power cubes. So, and I'm assuming they're of your choice. So, it's really nice to increase your stability. I don't have the cubes to pull that off at the moment. The tax thing is something I want to do. I don't need to do it right away. So the way taxes would work is we would draw a card over here, and these ones, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them. These ones aren't in the game right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just give you one of these as an example. So this card is T. And like I said, it's not in the game because we haven't discovered China and Japan or the East Indies, so this card doesn't make any sense. But once somebody does discover these areas, these cards would get added to the deck. So what then it does is you calculate your trade power. I'm not going to get into all the details, but your little ships and your merchants count towards the trade power. And if you ever had 6 or more trade power, you would gain 14 ducats. This 16 over here is when you have an expanded an upgraded trade node, which we don't have. And then, of course, if you have 3 to 5 power, you get 10, and if you have 1 to 2, you get 6. And if there's multiple players here, if one player had 3 to 5 and the other one had 1 to 2, then you would each get 10 or 6. If you tie, then there's tiebreakers, and whoever breaks the tie gets this one, and whoever lost the tie drops down and gets the lower one. So that's how the trade action works. And you need to pick a trade node that you actually have trade power at. And if you end up having no cards that you can play, you can always just collect 2 gold, 2 ducats. So if you choose none of the cards, you're always going to at least get 2 ducats. Alright, so that is the trade action. We're not going to do it. We want to do it, yes, but not. That's not the priority. The priority right now, I'm thinking, is, well, there's 2. I want to do this and get an idea, and I also want to recruit so we can declare war and take these 2 locations, Gibraltar and Grenada. Now, which one do we want to do first is the question. That is going to be dictated by our missions. This one, I have to win a battle against 3 or more enemy units. The Andalusia only produces 2 enemy units because it's based on the tax size. So I won't get this if I go to war. Although they are going to produce 2 units and I only have 2 units, and that's a real good chance I'm going to lose that battle. So I do need to do a recruit action before I attack. This one, have claims or alliances in 2 of any of these provinces. And Aragon is one of them. I don't think I have an alliance with them. I have a marriage. So I could do like a diplomacy action to try to get an alliance going with them. Tunisia, Naples. I have influence in Naples, but I don't have any relationship. I may have a claim on Aragon. I have to check. Lombardy, Flanders, Wallonia, etc. With 3 or more influence cubes in total among those 2 areas. So there's a lot to do here. I don't think I can do this in one action, but it is something to strive for. Have 4 light ships during a single action. You got to build 4 of them. That's just a straight up money thing. I don't want to do that. Here, have 2 stability or higher. I would love to do that one. Can't do it either. So none of these are within reach yet. But that's what you always want to consider, is getting one of those. Because if you're the first one to get it, you score the most points. Now let's look at Aragon real quick. You can see I have a lot of influence cubes. I don't even have a marriage with them. I don't have an alliance. In fact, I don't think I have a marriage alliance with anybody. No, I don't. So I do have a claim on Andalusia, and that's it. So that's all I have to go on. So what am I going to do? Well, I think I'm going to play my card. That's what I'm going to do. And this military reform one is a good one too. It lets me get military innovation here, where I could research any military idea and play. It takes 2 of my uses. But here's the problem. I still have to pay full price. And I only have 2 military cubes left. So I may not want to do that. Let's do revolutionary ideas. So I'm going to play 2 administrative power. And so these cubes are just out. And you can put them back in the bag if you want. I'm just going to put them out for now. And so that is to play this card. Right? So I would play this here. Now all the other players get to see it. And I get to research an idea at the cost of just 2 monarch power and score 1 extra point for that idea. So I don't have 2 administrative power anymore, so the only ideas I can research is a military or a diplomatic. So let's go and see what my options are. The diplomatic is Quest for the New World. I think that's an excellent one, and it's very thematic for Castile. So I'm going to do Quest for the New World, and I may use my ships when performing the explore action and start going to the New World, which adds some more actions to my availability. And like I said, it only costs 2 cubes to do. So I'm going to come back over here and take 2 of those cubes off. And then I'm just going to take 1 of these and we're going to put it on here to indicate that we took that idea. You don't actually take it and put it in your play area. It just this just indicates that we have the idea and we scored 2 points. Now, per the card we just played, we score 1 extra. So we come over to here and move these guys out of the way, and I just scored 3 points. 2 points plus the 1 extra. And that was glorious. So very happy there. Anything else about this? Nope. Alright, so then this card goes into the discard, which I think is just, yeah, we'll just, right there. Perfect. We got discards right below there. And that would be our turn. Now, one of the things that we open the door to is we can now explore, which That's different than colonize. Don't get those confused. Explore is this one. It costs a diplomacy and a military, and that allows us to move our ship to the new world. And just a real quick explanation there. I could take a ship like this, and for example, I'm in a C zone that has the letter C. C for C zone, right? There's the letter B up here for an A, right? But we're in C. So we can leave the C zone here, and we can go to any new world area that has the letter C. And here you can see there is no letter C, right? That's the Far East. You know, at this time, that would be historically impossible to do. Same with the Middle East. Can't go there. We could go to Africa, though, and start going along the Gold Coast, right? So we can come here, and there's a C zone here, specifically designated as C. So I could come down to here as Spain and try to settle one of these areas. Or I can also go to the Americas, and you can see there's several C zones here. One for the Caribbean and one for Southwestern Atlantic. And I am just now reminded I forgot to get my mission cards out. I'm supposed to have missions, and my apologies. That's part of the setup, and the missions are here. So I'm going to go into the search. Nope, missions are not there. So within here is Castile. So you have to drag this out and just drop it. Then come over here and search this. And here you can see there's a player aid just for Spain. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. You got a completed missions. There's some special events that I think you can put into the game. And that is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the mission deck. Oh, come on. Nope. Nope. Well, anyways, there's a mission deck for Castile in here somewhere. Let's see what this says. So here you go. They got the it's telling you what to put in. So it's really just a player aid to help you to learn how to play as Spain. We're not going to get into that. Let me pause real quick. I need to find these mission cards. Okay, they were here all along. So I had it totally right. So you go in here, you grab the Castile Spain. So every country is listed in here. You grab whichever one is player controlled. Drag it onto the game board here. And then right click on this and hit search. And right here, these are the mission cards. So just drag this whole thing and drop. And then you got a deck of 12 cards. That's what we're looking for right there. Okay, so then you take these 12 cards and you bring them over here and you drop them on your missions deck. Alright, so now we're going to draw in the beginning of the game when your turn started. Okay, we're going to do this the easier way. We're going to search the deck. You get to see the whole deck. These three green ones are to be evaluated by you, and you pick two of them to start the game. And I don't know why this one. There we go. Alright, so I'm supposed to pick two of them. And so one of them is going to be Discover the Caribbean. The other one is, we could do Claims in Aragon or Reconquest. So basically, own all provinces in Andalusia. So I'm going to pick the, I don't know why it's turning them sideways, but yeah, I'm going to pick these two missions. This one I'm not going to pick for now. although it's worth 4 victory points. It's a much higher victory point one than the others, and you can see that it unlocks these 2 missions later. So you finish this mission, then 2 more unlock. But I'm going to put this one back into the deck. And then these are the 2 missions, and technically speaking, I don't think you're supposed to reveal them to the other players, so they're in your hand. Alright, so I have these 2 missions. One of them, like I said, discover the Caribbean. The other one is to own all provinces of Andalusia. So basically declare war and take over this area. So we're going to demonstrate how combat works. We already demonstrated how we're going to to research an idea so we can go into the new world, and then we're going to come out here and move into the Caribbean, which is a pretty simple thing to do. And then, okay, once you get here and you explore, you're going to get to roll what's called a colonization die. So the dice are over here. That's one of these guys, and see, you can see there's numbers on them. So assuming you don't roll the skulls, that you don't want those, whatever number you roll, you then get to claim the new world. So if I roll 1, I get to claim, you know, actually Antilles is the only number 1 in the Caribbean I can claim. And then there's a whole bunch of 2s. And I don't think I can do this one, because it has to be where a port is in your area. And there's no 3s. So, you know, you want to roll 1 or a 2, and then that means you've discovered something, and then you can put a claim on it. Then after you have a claim on it, then you can create colonists, put them in the colonist pool, and then the colonists can actually colonize the area. So it's a multi-step process. The first mission is just to have a claim, which means go there and find and roll the die and get a 1 or a 2. And then see right here, the effect for this is we could gain 3 colonists or a claim on the Antilles. So this is excellent. They give you colonists just for doing it. That's a great mission. And then this 2C, I'm willing to bet, is going to be colonize. And we're allowed to peek. I mean, these cards are, you're allowed to see them. So that is not 2C. So what number is this? That's 1C. There it is. So then you need to have a town on 3 plus of Mississippi, Florida, Antilles, New Granada, Guyana, or La Plata. And so that would be the next mission you would end up getting. So it just continues. So my apologies. You were supposed to have this from the beginning of the game, and then you have to choose. And I'm also realizing I forgot something. When I researched Quest for the New World, I didn't just unlock that action. Instantly, I can gain 1 monarch cube of my choice. So let's think about this. What do I want to do? I mentioned that I want to recruit and then start to conquer. I may need another military cube to be able to conquer everything I want to do, because every siege costs a cube. I also have, I want to trade because I have really expensive people. I would like to get my money back. So maybe let's do a trade action, right? So to do a trade action, it only costs me 1 diplomatic power, so I don't need a cube for that. So what do I want to do? Let's see. I can convert an area, which is that's a religious thing. I can, but I need to control Andalusia to do that. Oh no, actually, I'd have to look it up. I think you need to own all the provinces to be able to pull that off. So here, I need to recruit, which is going to cost me money, and 1 of my cubes. I then can declare war, which costs my other cube. Now, when you declare war, you instantly do battle if there's any battle areas. That's not going to be the case here. So then they give you a free action, which is in this box here. So you get a free activate units action when you declare war. So I don't necessarily need this third cube when I declare war, because then I'll be able to march my armies into Andalusia, but then a battle will occur once I get there, because you're either moving or you're activating. That's what it is. So I would be moving, and that would of course take me down to Andalusia. We would have a battle. I would win, but then here you can see I need another cube. Right there. There it is. Move or siege. That's what I was trying to say. So I get a free action here, but I got to move first. My army is currently not in Andalusia. It's up here. So one of my free action when I declare war will be to move down. And then I'll need another cube to be able to lay siege. Now, can I lay siege on both of these at once or just one? I'd have to look up the action. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but that's where we're going to ultimately go. Okay, I'm going to wrap up this video here. You got to see two bots take a turn, and then a player take a turn, which the player turn was super fast, but obviously if I start explaining all the game mechanics, it can take forever. When we get back, we will just continue going. England, then Austria, and then Poland, and we'll just keep going round and round, and until everybody passes. So thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome, and like I keep saying, Frosthaven is still on my table. I still plan to play it. Just got hooked on this tonight. I was playing this with my son, and I really just wanted to do a few videos to explain it. I really I appreciate the videos that are out there. I just think that there's an opportunity to really try to explain it with a fresh angle. So I hope this is helpful. Thank you.